Good evening, everyone. It's November 20th, 2023, and we've had a really strong up day. Not a ton of volume on it, but we made a really, you know, zero trade under the open on the S&P, zero trade under the open on the Nasdaq, making a new high of the year, by the way. The Dow also no trade below the open, just ripping upwards. Even the Russell managed to put in a green day. Look at it go. Uh, Look, yesterday I said that I wouldn't be surprised if we had a boring, slow week ahead of the FOMC minutes that come out tomorrow at 2 p.m. I was wrong about that. However, the part I got right, I'm going to show this chart over here, is that I said I didn't want to fade a breakout of this balance. And you can kind of look at the balance something like this. Uh, I didn't want to fade that, and for good reason, as you can see today. There's the open. I was bid. Someone said they wanted to see some trade reviews or something. Here's pretty much what I was thinking. Uh, this thing rocketed upwards at the same time the Nasdaq was taking out the overnight high really strongly in those first couple minutes. Right here, when I saw that happening, I was bid at 26 quarter. That's been like an IB high, a previous day's high. All sorts of stuff has been right at this kind of price level over here. So I was bid 26s, didn't get filled, kept on ramping upwards. We put the initial balance high at 43s, and I was looking for us to get continuation. Um, Given such strong acceptance of the prior day's high, of the prior week's high, of the overnight high, all that stuff on both the Nasdaq and the ES, I was expecting us to break this initial balance high. So on the Nasdaq, I was bid I think 940, and then I slid up to 948, and for some reason, and this is annoying, very annoying, Interactive Brokers was not filling me, and I called them and they said, yeah, it was under your bid price for 6 full seconds and you were not getting filled. And yeah, I'm aware I was not getting filled. uh, anyway, we went ahead and broke the initial balance highs, got some more volume going, and once again trapped shorts on that, I think it was the 20-year bond auction where the results came out positive and moved up again, and then another ramp into the close. So, and right now during this external trading hours, we're getting, it looks like we're going to break yesterday's high on the Nasdaq. The S&P has a little bit more room to go. Uh, that's a long-winded way of saying I didn't want to fade this thing if it was breaking the upside. And I said that yesterday, is that, typically on a Monday with no news, sure, we could look to possibly fade an attempt to break out a balance to the upside. However, look at this high time frame momentum. Are you really going to try and fade it? Like, maybe if this thing sold back down to, I don't know, something like that, 450-ish, then you got all these breakout buyers above you. These guys are above you. At least you have some sort of volume and structure above you. You haven't taken out this high of the year, so maybe you can sell down into this gap or something, right? But this to me right now is just not. This is not set up for a short. Uh, let's talk about what I'm looking for tomorrow. Here's the S&P on a 5-minute chart. Here we go. Here's what I'm looking for. I think we break the highs at some point during the day, sometime before FOMC minutes. I think this thing also does slow down quite a bit after the euro close as we await those minutes. I think we could either find a bid somewhere here, 453 and 67 cents. That is the prior major swing high from September, that September monthly high, kind of close to that also August monthly high. So perhaps we get a bid around this kind of 453 half area. It also lines up with a value area high from today, that blue number. Or kind of the main area I'm looking at is the initial balance high to this point of control area where we had a humongous volume spike. Maybe I can show this. There we go. These were some big volumes here. That's a 1.18 million contracts, and you can see that's significantly higher than pretty much any other bar after the opening print for the entire day. The opening print and the closing few bars. Below there, I wouldn't really look at getting long. Maybe you get some sort of covering at the low of the day around where I had a pivot. But really, I think you want to be looking at long somewhere here. Nasdaq, similar scenario, nothing too different. Looking to get long either that kind of breakout area to the initial balance high, or maybe this thing is a long somewhere around here, whatever that is. Yeah, the last week's high, T+2 high, something like that. A lot of people have been saying intraday that the Nasdaq is lagging, and it is lagging intraday a little bit, right? But keep in mind that it just made a new high of the year. It made a new high of the year, and here's the all-time high. We're 4.25% off the all-time high. The S&P, I think, has something more like 8%. Oh, 5. Right? There's a little bit more of a ways to go on the S&P. So although I would hesitate to say that the Nasdaq is struggling. It's just because it's come so far that it's hard for it to push to accelerate to the upside intraday. So yeah, for tomorrow, I'm bullish. I'm looking to buy dips. So far, the overnight's confirming that. All trades so far above the close. You can see that 45.62. We're kind of holding it. I imagine it gets a little bit lower at some point. But yeah, I'm looking to buy dips. We got some news at, what is it? 10 a.m. existing home sales, 2 o'clock. That's going to be the big one. So I think this thing starts to get choppy around 1 o'clock. And then after 2, it'll probably be pretty messy. Hopefully that mess gives us some decent trade Wednesday. And then I imagine kind of going into the end of the day on Wednesday, this thing gets really slow ahead of the holiday. And then Friday's just going to be, I think it's going to be a mess. Anyway, hope that makes sense. Hope that helps. Just, let's get some, let's call it 4 red days. Let's see if we can get 2 to 3 red days in a row before we just start shorting this thing. Okay, give me 2 to 3. This isn't even a red day. This close was above the prior day's close. In reality, you've had 1 red day. This day too. This was above the prior day's close. This close. Give me 2 red days in a row, and maybe we can start thinking about taking aggressive shorts. Until then, best to just be long intraday. Have a good night. Trade safe.